Well, hello, everybody. Sean Waite with We Success in Sales Coaching, and even more importantly, Regional Captain with Accelerated Global Connections. And today is going to be fantastic. I'm actually getting to interview and talk with Travis Sims, our founder and our CEO, but also just a networking guru. I don't like to use the term God because he gets a little bit embarrassed about that, but he is just so good on all these things. So first, we're going to start with our presentation. As I said, Sean Waite with Accelerated Global Connections, and there we go. We're doing AGC Talks today. AGC Talks is a forum where we bring on people who are going to add value, who are going to benefit your network, benefit your business, motivate, educate, entertain. So today with Travis, who, like I said, happens to be our CEO and founder, you're going to see some great things. We're going to talk about some great things, both how the past was and what the future brings. What we'd like to do is have you play along. Put in your city, your state, your country. Are you in live? Are you in replay? Do you know that we have over 2,000 eyeballs? Well, 4,000 eyeballs, right? 2,000 people looking and part of our Facebook group. What that means is that we are getting out there. We're getting the information out there. And we'd love, if you're not already part of that group, if you're not watching it there, join our group, right? You need to get these things. You need to help motivate and educate and grow your network. And this is a great way to do it. Speaker, if you're out there, here's another great thing. We're looking for speakers to add to our group, to add to the value of the people that we network and interact with. So if you want to be in front of 2,000 people, there you go. You're going to see us in all these different places, right? Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm streaming live right now on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, but we also have it in replay on Vimeo TV, on Fire TV, on Roku TV. If you just can't get enough of all the different events we have, you can also check out the podcast that Travis drops every Monday. It's always got great stuff, and it's edutainment, right? Because what you'll learn, if you don't already know about Travis, what you'll learn is not only is he engaging and informative and able to just drop high-level information on you in a way that is easily digestible and that you can actually put into practice and understand, but he's also fun. He's a heck of a good guy. He educates, but he also entertains. He brings you in. And that is one of the best things about Travis is the way he can interact and bring networks together. We're hosted today by a friend of mine and a person I'm proud to say I'm associated with, Bo Young with Mailbox Power. So Mailbox Power is all about the mailbox, not the inbox. Do you know that only 20% of emails get read? I mean, it used to be, remember the days when you'd go out to your mailbox and it'd be filled with junk mail and you're like, oh, junk. But then you'd hear you've got mail on your computer and you're like, oh my goodness, I've got mail. Now it's flipped. It's the exact opposite. You go in and you have 1,000 junk mail emails that come in, but how often do you have something great that comes in the mailbox? Mailbox Power does that. And Bo Young is sponsoring us today. Reach out to Bo at www.betterappreciation.com, and he can hook you up like he did for me and my clients. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be in front of the 4,000 eyeballs just in our Facebook group, plus the thousands of views we get up on those other platforms, reach out to support@joinagc.com. You know, if you don't think you need to be in front of people, if you're like, oh, I've got all the customers and business I need right now, if you don't know that attrition happens and that you need to constantly be in front of people and top of mind, we need to talk, and you need to be sponsoring something with us because this is a way to get in front of people and be top of mind. So when they are ready to do business, they're thinking of you. Being a member of AGC, not only have I been able to grow my network by thousands of people, I'm only doing it for like $1 a day, right? I mean, seriously, think about it. What else can you do to be top of mind and not just be part of a network where people can use you for business and refer business to you, but where you're learning. I have gotten so much better exponentially in my business by being surrounded by some of the brightest minds that you will ever meet. There's been struggles I've had. There's been things where it's like, oh my goodness, someone else has been there, done that, right? Even better, someone else has been there, failed at it, came back and done it and been successful at it. I don't need to learn everything by me physically doing it or me mentally doing it. I've got a network of people who have done it. They say you are average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. My average is pretty dang high, I tell you that. So next we've got other regional partners. We could not get this done if we didn't have a team. Travis is our general, right? But you need the lieutenants and the captains and the foot soldiers to get out there and make something happen, whether it's in your business or any business, or especially in networking. Here are some of our different regional partners. I'm proud to be one. We've got Lois, we've got Amy, we've got the Speeds, Becky and Dustin. Jake, even though Jake never remembers me, I always remember Jake. And that's an inside joke. If you were there, you'd know. But hey, when you're part of the group, right, we're not just networking. We become friends. Today, I'm going to be talking with AGC founder, and I always say guru, right, the grand poobah, Travis Sims, about how to recession-proof your business. There's a lot of stuff out there. I coach in the housing market, right, mortgage and real estate. Hey, guess what I see a lot of right now with interest rates and with inflation and limited inventory and such as that? Is there a recession coming? There's a lot of things, a lot of indicators that it's possible, maybe not. But either way, if you're just going to sit there and wait for it to happen to you, you're not going to enjoy too much and you're not going to have the control. So today we're going to talk with Travis about networking, recession-proofing your business, and how we're going to do that. So then we will have a Q&A session with Travis where you're going to be able to interact with both of us and ask your questions and get them answered. But even more importantly, this is also going to be rebroadcast so that if you don't have a chance right now, you can go back and watch it on the YouTube channel for Accelerated Global Connections. You can check it out on LinkedIn. You can check it out on all those different places we talked about. So now I'm going to bring up the guest of the hour, Mr. Travis Sims. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Mr. Sean Waite. Thank you so much for all those kind words.
Well, sometimes I got to stop myself because I tend to ramble on, because one of the things I'm very proud of myself to do, I was taught by my mom, is call out greatness when you see it. And you impact and help so many different people with so many different things for, I hate to say it because it's going to age both of us, but for decades, man. I mean, you've got the experience, you've got the leadership. So when I see stuff like that, I'm going to call it out. So thank you for all you do for all of us.
Well, thanks to your mom. I'll tell you, we must have had similar upbringings and similar parents because, you know, I'm the oldest of 8, right? So I grew up taking care of my siblings, you know, making sure they were taken care of, making sure they were entertained, making sure that, you know, they had all the things that they needed. I was not only the big brother, I was the babysitter, you know, anytime my parents left the house. And so it's my natural, I guess, the way I grew up to take care of others, you know, and to take care of others before you take care of yourself, almost like that, you know, in the airplane scenario where you put your own mask on so you can put someone others, but I would naturally want to help the person right beside me first. It'd just be my nature to do that.
Well, and that's what's so cool is that, you know, Accelerated Global Connections is just been growing and growing. And I mean, we're coming up on the 3 years already of it being a force in the Twin Cities and starting growing nationally. And the goal, I believe, as the name implies, right, is to go global. You know, how do you take your background with networking and what caused you to go, you know what, there's a spot for us to help serve and grow and build a different networking way?
Sure. Yeah. Well, you know, starting off, first of all, putting that global in the name, is a very bold move, right? To start out. But I was taught early on to start with the end in mind, right? So there are so many companies that eventually have to rebrand because they didn't think big enough. And so I'm always that person that is the big thinker, the let's shoot for the moon, type of person. And as far as identifying, the openness in the marketplace to launch another networking thing, right? Because there are lots of them, and I come from a background originally being brought up into thinking that there's only one way to network. Like there's just one way to do it. Here's how you do it. Here's the organization that you choose, and this is it, right? I then later come to find out after traveling the world and meeting lots of people and networking that there are lots of ways to do networking, and there isn't just one way to do it. Matter of fact, there are so many different styles in the way people choose and love to do networking because, let's face it, we're not all the same. And there is opportunity for lots of ways to do tons of things, including networking. And so I started looking at what was available and looking at how the market was changing, especially with millennial businesses as they were coming up through. They weren't attracted to meetings. They preferred events. They didn't like structure. They liked social. They didn't like paper. They loved online. They didn't want to learn through books. They wanted to learn through talks and podcasts and things of that nature. So the market's changed, and people are not buying the same way they did, let's say, 40 years ago. People are buying
even 20 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's
exactly. I mean, think Amazon for an example. They sell tons of products, and it's delivered right to your home. You never have to leave your house to go get it. Think like Uber, right? They have all these people driving cars. They don't own any cars. So it's just you have to think differently in today's market. And we brought AGC to the marketplace, and it's new and it's exciting and it's different than anything that's been out there.
You brought up the millennial. I think a lot of people, especially when I was younger and we went to networking events, right? It was the difference between every Thursday at 8 a.m. we meet with the same 10 people. And then there was young professionals networking where we met up at the bar and just BS basically and got nothing done. But we built relationships.
Yeah.
But I finding that I think that point of like you're talking. So when it comes to millennials, why do you think it's so attractive for the format that we have?
Well, you bring up an interesting point, and that's because they say more business gets done over coffee or on a golf course than there does on Wall Street, right? Mm-hmm. And so people naturally want to do business with people that they know, that they like, that they trust, people that they have. They have a relationship with. And so that's why that social aspect is important. However, I will say less business gets done in dark bars, those crowded places where it's more about how much you're drinking and the cheers that you're doing than it is about the business that you're there to do, right? And so we really wanted that happy medium. We wanted to put a safe place for all people to network, be an inclusive environment for everyone, and especially with women in mind. I can't help but think about, in those bar situations, and I see Jackie Mart is watching, and I'll say Amy Tyson and others, in our organization that are they're not showing up to that bar for any other reason than they want to do business with the people there. They want to get to know them in a business style relationship. And so in that case, we took AGC and placed it in co-working spaces and country clubs and golf courses and things like that. We elevated the environment to where it was more conducive to business. Yes, there's some drinks there, but it's a 2-hour event. So no one's there to drink. They're there to do business. The rest of that's just accent stuff. So,
one of the things I really love about our format is there's that fine balance of, in my opinion, too structured, right? Where it's just structured and this is how it is and that we do this, and the no structure where it's not efficient. And I'm big on, okay, these days where is the return on investment? If I'm going to spend 2 hours, right? Yes, I want to build relationships. Yes, I want to do all these things. I've made a lot of friendships through AGC as well. But I love the fact that there is the format, but you can personalize it to yourself, right? I mean, you can attend the TED Talk type of thing like we're doing here. You can come and meet the people, but it's almost like it's like one of those, and I'm going to be dating myself when I say this, those storybooks, right? Where you can pick and choose your
own adventure.
I remember those. I love
exactly.
Those. And that's what I like about being able to personalize how I interact and how I want to interact with AGC to get my needs met. Would you say that's something that you see people able to do?
Absolutely. And when it comes to structured versus social style networking, I enjoy structured networking as well. I'm have been a part of a lot of organizations where structured networking. I see Jake Perrin is with us now. He's also in a structured network, and many others that are inside AGC are a part of structured networks, and they work really well in what they do. They excel at what they do, but you're sitting with the same people every single week, asking to meet all these other people. The concept of AGC is that, hey, I'm just going to put you in the room with the people you're asking to meet. I'm just going to walk you across the room and introduce you, right? They're here. They're here right now. Let's just get you talking to them. Let's start that process. But also the thing that people have to understand when it comes to social style networking, event style networking, the event is not going to get you the business. Right? Because people think networking has this easy button, like, oh, I'm just going to show up to this meeting and get all this business. I'm going to show up to this event and I'm going to get all this business. And really, you're there at the event, you're there at the meeting to meet someone new, to start a relationship. It's what comes after the event that makes all the difference, right? It's about how you reach out to them afterwards. You follow up and say, hey, I want to set that Zoom meeting with you. I want to set that coffee time with you. And that's where it starts to turn into the relationship. It starts to turn into the trust, and then it starts to turn into business. Networking is always going to be that long-term sport. And you just have to understand that there's not an easy button. You're going to have to work it. And it's there if you want it. The field is full. It's plentiful.
There's no easy button, but I think there is a turbocharger, because when you get people like you who we talk to and we do these events where you can share that type of mentality, where you don't have to just kind of go in and be the wallflower and stand on the side and stuff, but the stuff that you present, and I believe actually, have you written about that?
I do have a couple best-selling books. Thanks for the shameless plug there. You can find them on Amazon. Just search my name on Amazon. You'll find those great books on networking. But you said turbocharge. I prefer the term accelerate.
That makes sense.
I put it in the name. But what's funny about that is, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to, with the creation of AGC, I wanted to accelerate the amount of relationships, accelerate the amount of business, accelerate the amount of referrals, accelerate the amount of money that you're going to make from a networking organization. Because I don't know how many people I've heard from that they're like, oh, I tried networking. I went to this thing. I just didn't feel included. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. I didn't see results. And I want them coming into an AGC event and having a unique and new experience. It starts from the moment they get off the elevator, from the moment they walk into the door and they walk up that red carpet, and they immediately have a different feeling about how they're networking. It's like, oh, we've elevated the environment, we've elevated the experience, and we've accelerated the ability to do business, because the people you're trying to reach are in the room. You just have to go up and introduce yourself. They're there. And then it's what happens after that makes all the difference.
One of the things that I really love also, and maybe we're going to get into this later, so if I'm going too far off track, please always bring me in. One of the things I love is that with all the events, especially the live events, as we're getting back into live events, as someone who works, I call it geographically independent, right? Where I can work with anybody anywhere. Excuse me. One of the greatest draws for me was the fact that when I was attending other very structured groups, right, you were expected to, if I was a realtor, I worked with the mortgage person in that group. Mm-hmm. I didn't always align with that person, right? There wasn't always they're great. Not saying they're not great people, but I think the alignment, sometimes when we're part of a group, we can go, oh, do I really, well, just because they're the insurance person, the mortgage person, or the Mary Kay person, I don't have that alignment. One of the things I love is that I can be aligned with people in the group and not aligned with other people in the group. And that's okay. We've got enough people in the industries that you can find your tribe. And that was one of the most important things for me, is that some people, I probably annoy, right? I'm too energetic, I'm too boisterous or whatever. But I found people that I align with in AGC and Accelerated Global Connections that I can still want to not just be like, okay, it's an obligation to do business with them or send referrals or build relationships, but I want to. And I think that's one of our biggest strengths as well. What would you say?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love an abundance mindset, right? That there absolutely is enough business for everyone. This is why there's a CVS across the street from every Walgreens. This is why there is a Burger King and a Wendy's and a McDonald's on every corner. They're all selling hamburgers, guys. There is enough business for everyone. Oftentimes people get into that scarcity thinking of, oh, my competitor, and they're offering the same deal. There is enough for everybody. There really is. But what I also enjoy, and I'll use your analogy where you're talking about that mortgage person, that realtor that's working together. And what I know is that when you're a mortgage person, you could have a meeting every single week with the best realtor in town. I mean, they're doing the most transactions of anyone else. They're the best at what they do, but you still need 10 more realtors to make up your book of business. There's not enough for just that one realtor to send you for you to just say, well, this is the only person I'm going to do business with. You still need to meet tons of other realtors. And that's where an organization like AGC comes in. And that is, we're going to introduce you to a lot, not just the one, but you're going to meet a ton in the industry you need to meet. And if you have the ability, like yourself, Sean, as a coach, to be able to do business anywhere, to be able to do it, online,
Indiana,
to
maybe
do it
even
virtually, to be able to do it. You can connect with members all over, everywhere in the country, all over the globe. And as we're making that move from, hey, we have lots of online events, we're still going to offer online events. But as we're making that move, as we're entering that endemic stage of this pandemic, right, that things are opening up. And you'll have that ability to go get on a plane. You're doing business somewhere in Florida. I know you just was recently in Florida. And you pull up your AGC website. You're like, hey, there's an event happening tonight in Florida. I'm going to walk right up the red carpet. I'm going to scan straight in the door and walk right in the door, all for one membership price. There is no organization in the world that offers that. I mean, think chambers, right? Chambers are geographical. So they're based on the community that you're a part of. If you want to be a part of another community, you're going to have to pay a membership there, right? In many organizations, you're a member of one group.
Yep.
You're not even, you can't get to the others, or you're limited in how much you can. Within AGC, you can I'm going to go to this one. I want to go to that one. I'm going to jump on a plane and go to this one. And so it's that abundance style of thinking, that accelerated networking.
Well, and I know, having been in management and with other companies and such as that before I went on my own, I know the thousands of dollars that companies pay to have their people in different organizations, right? Because they have to pay, like you said, for the Minneapolis chamber and the St. Paul chamber, the Cottage Grove, and so this stuff really, really can add up. And I love how you say that is, I can go down to Florida when I go there, for the winter. And when we're all up and running in our different locations, I can just be like, hey, walk in there, start making connections. And of course I'll be like, I know Travis personally, of course. So, I can name drop too, but as we grow, I mean, that's going to be, I think one of the largest things is that you can literally, if you want to go away for the winter and go down to California and San Diego, you can jump in a group there and not miss a beat. And
Here's
even
something
locally. Sorry, go ahead.
even really, really cool that Sean, you probably haven't thought of, that I haven't voiced out loud yet, but here you go. Right. So let's say, I'm going to winter in Florida, but you currently operate out of the Twin Cities, but you're an AGC regional partner. You know how to put an event together. You understand, you have all the things at your fingertips, right? Like you got the website, you got the social media stuff, you've got everything, the ability to do it. So you're like, well, I'm going to be in Florida during the month of February. I think I'll host an AGC event. Well, wait a minute, there is no AGC events happening currently in Florida. Yeah, but I think I'll put one on. I know I'm going to be there 3 months from now. I'll just use my LinkedIn and I'll use the social media and I'll reach out to a few people I know there and have them bring their tribe. We're just going to host an AGC event and have an event there. And all of a sudden you've started a spark somewhere that there's not even a region yet.
And so what you're saying is that I would actually have a value add for the local community to be able to step in there. I've got AGC, the name, and everything that we've got, the infrastructure, to be able to literally just do a pop-up event and have this, what am I trying to say? Have this almost, this, I don't want to say pedestal, but this platform maybe to say, hey, I'm new in an area, but I would love to add value to you guys. Come on, let's all get together. And we already have the infrastructure and everything ready to go.
Absolutely. Since you mentioned pop-up events, right? So pop-up event, that included, like, maybe it's just, hey, we're gonna take over this winery, we're gonna take over this restaurant, we're gonna take over, this area of the beach, but this is where we're meeting, and AGC is the platform. And so when you're sending out invitations to this event, and you're working with the local chamber and you're working with the locals in the area, you're coming there 3 months from now, and you're going to host this AGC event. They're like, who's this Sean White guy? I don't know, but gosh, he's hosting this big event and I want to be there. And then when they Google AGC, they're like, oh, AGC is here. It's here. It's there. Yeah, I'm going to this thing because the organization has the credibility. And then talk about someone like you. This is what I love about what I do, is like lifting up others, right? Helping other people, is that when you get there, you're the man of the hour, or if it's someone else, the woman of the hour that put on this major event. Now everyone either knows you or wants to know you in the marketplace. It could be huge for someone like you.
You just said the word exactly, credibility, right? Because it's so hard, especially as a small business owner. Right? They can Google me and they'll find out stuff, but I love that term. I'd like to do some shout outs here real quick with some of the people we have joining us. Damian Westcott, who's joining us live on LinkedIn. Damian's a friend of mine. He's an insurance agent down in, I believe you're in the Rochester area. Correct me in the comments if that's not where you're doing. Let's see. We got Jackie. Jackie was one of our speakers actually just a couple of months ago now. She is fantastic. She's out of Edina.
Hi, Jackie.
You should really check out, if you're watching this, check out Jackie Mart's stuff, especially how she's empowering young girls in this age of, it's not always kind to a lot of people out there, and she is doing her difference.
I'll say too, Jackie's really active in our Facebook group, so she's really easy to reach, and you could I encourage you to start a conversation with her, start networking with her.
Yeah, with her holistic coaching and her nutrition, I mean, it's just invaluable. So you mentioned Jake. Jake's in Utah right now. What's he doing in Utah?
Jake's that global traveler. It's hard telling. Like, he's always traveling somewhere. I love that. Like, if you're going to pick a financial advisor, pick one that knows, a lot of people in a lot of places. The guy's on the move.
So, I mean, as a financial advisor, and with me being a coach, and he's all over the place, I'm all over the place, we can build our networks that way as well, because he has those connections in other places. So when you join AGC, it's like I said, it's not just the Minnesota stuff. You can do mortgages or sell real estate in another area, right? If you're a financial advisor, if you're all these different things, we have these connections. If you want a business trip down to Florida, right? I mean, There you go. We can get together. It's follow through in meetings you set up after the event that will provide the greatest opportunity to both give and receive referrals. Jake's dead on, right? I mean, we've talked about that, and Jake is one of the leaders in our organization that just takes us to that next level. If you haven't met Jake, I'm going to tell you right now, come out to our next event. in what, do you know when our next Egan one is?
Yeah, it's actually in Apple Valley, and they're
Apple Valley,
holding it at Cowboy Jack's. There's a private meeting space there. It has its own entry. The sound equipment. It's going to be a really nice space for them, and of course, a great menu. So it'll be a great place to meet people in April. April is the first return to the Apple Valley area. So thank Jake and his team. It's going to be a great event.
Awesome. And just getting to know these people and seeing the levels that they're at with their business. And like I said, a rising tide. When you're at an AGC event, it's a rising tide. It's going to lift all boats.
Jake and his team held the last in-person AGC event before the pandemic lockdown. And we went from, it was a sold out event, like not another chair in the place, couldn't take anyone else, to like 2 days later, we're on complete lockdown. I was like, what just happened here? I don't know what, like, we just had a sold out event. What are you talking about?
Well, the beautiful thing is as we're progressing through, and it kind of actually leads me to one of my first questions is, when we've kind of covered it before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and now as we're coming out of the pandemic, can you kind of give us some differences and what's pivoted and what's shifted and what your thoughts are as we're coming out of the pandemic to be successful as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a standalone, a solopreneur?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm going to say the word of 2022 for me is hustle. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a small business person, this is the year you need to hustle. Like, you cannot sit back and wait for business to come anymore. That old, I'm just going to hang a shingle and wait for people to come to me, is not a thing, right? See, pandemic time is different than recession time, right? I've now been through both. I've lived through a recession. I've lived through a pandemic. There's the potential for another recession being forecasted for the future. I mean, we're in war times. I'm not trying to paint doom and gloom for you, but what I am saying is that as an entrepreneur, as a salesperson, as a small business person, you have to be hustling. Like, there is no time to sit back. There's no time to wait. And what that means is that, like, in a pandemic, you can't go out and knock on doors, right? Like, you're talking about isolation, you're talking about lockdown, you're safer at home, hey, don't socialize, don't get together. But in the time of recession, it is absolute opposite. You have to get out. You have to meet more people. You have to start more conversations. You have to get in front of more people. And so networking will be the biggest thing that you should be doing in 2022. Like, you need to be out reaching more people. And so, coming on the outside of that pandemic and that endemic stage, if you want to beat the potential recession, you're going to have to get in front of people, and you're going to have to get in lots of rooms, and AGC is going to provide them.
The word hustle, it seems it's almost got a bad connotation for a lot of people these days. And you hear the term grinding and hustling and stuff like that. And I think, well, as you know, and you mentioned, is cycles happen. They're a cycle because they keep coming around. There's going to be more recessions. There's going to be these things. It just happens. It's just how part of it, business and life is. Would you define hustle? What when you say hustle, because I don't think of it as a negative, but so many people think that hustle and grinding and doing all these things to promote your business, in a quick manner can be negative. What do you define hustle as?
Yeah, for me, it's all about work ethic, right? So it's like, if you follow me on my personal, not on my business profile, but if we're connected personally, you'll see that, like, I'm always holding up these threes, right? Because I'm hitting that treadmill, or I'm hitting that elliptical almost on the daily, and I'm throwing up those. Hey, I just did 3 miles today. Someone that's not hustling for their health is sitting on the couch, not paying attention to those things. If you're not hustling for your business, you're maybe sitting behind your computer and you're waiting on it to come to you. But I'm saying, hey, you just got to be active. You got to get out there. You got to be social. You need to meet people. So it's all about getting the work done.
It sounds like basically being proactive and getting out there and doing it.
Yes. Proactive instead of reactive. That's a great, Sean Waite, ladies and gentlemen, success and sales coach. He said, be proactive, not reactive in the marketplace. I agree.
And that's what I think of when I think of hustle too, is we have seasons, right? Sometimes you're, planting, sometimes you're just
Yeah.
watering, and then in the winter, you harvest, and in winter you ain't doing a whole lot, right? Because you
Yeah.
can't. But when it is time to plant, when it is time to harvest, you got to get out there and do it. You got to do 18-hour days sometimes. But the other thing, and I love, because you demonstrate this, you and Don demonstrate this so well, is people talk about the work-life balance. I don't think it's work-life balance. I think it's work-life harmony.
Yeah.
That's something that I've been taught lately, because there's just not balance unless you look at the long term. But yet you're hustling, but you're still out there enjoying life, and it's not just about the work. I mean, that you are such a great example of this. Is you're always hustling, you're making stuff happen, but also you have the harmony of not just working. And that's one of the things I see in you as a leader. You exemplify so well for the rest of us.
That's a learned behavior for me. I previously was the person that was work focused all the time. And it's funny because I recently, just last week, I attended a network meeting, and there was some open networking time. It was in a Zoom meeting, but it was open networking. And so they posed a question, and it was, what do you like to do on the weekend? And I was shocked at how many people said they worked through the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, and I'm just going to speak for me, and that is, guys, I work all week long so I can enjoy my weekends. Okay. I and my vacations and the time with my wife and the time with family and friends and all those things. I mean, I'm not going to work my life away, work it into the grave. There has to be that harmony for me, because, so many people will work and look up and like they work their entire life away.
Mm-hmm. When I go do my snowbird thing, and I've told you this before, is it's amazing how many I'm always usually, the youngest person there by 20 years. And people are like, oh my goodness, must be,
Yeah.
you're so lucky to be able to. I'm like, well, no, I just have structured. I'm fortunate, but I've structured this because I want to be able to do these things while I still can, while I physically can go kayaking with dolphins and do these things. And
yeah, you're not lucky, you're intentional.
Exactly. And is there luck involved? Yes. For those people who are going to say, yes, there's luck involved, but luck is where, what is it? Preparation meets opportunity.
Yes.
And I love what you said, because so I'm in a different season of my life, and I'm able to, sometimes I will work on the weekend, but I also am able to take off during the week and do my things as well. And that's what I love about the hustle. The real hustle mentality, in my opinion, is when you're on, you're on. When you're off, you're off. You're doing these things. And it varies for all of us but that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing, as long as you can take a step back and go, okay, I'm doing it. I'm at 100% when I need to be at 100% for this. I'm at 100% when I need to be at 100% for this.
Yeah. Be present, wherever you are. And I think too, even the last couple of years have changed a lot of that for people that maybe previously had some boundaries set up, had more work-life harmony. And it's because we got in a place where we're working from home.
Yep.
And previously you left to go to work.
Yep.
And you came home and you enjoyed your home time. Now there's this blend of like, hey, I'm working from my home office and the commute's not so far. So, hey, I'm just going to go in on Saturday morning and I'm going to work a little bit and get some stuff done. And then all of a sudden you look up and like, it's Saturday night, right? You've worked the day away. And so, and other life is happening around you. Kids and family are right there. You feel like you're there, but you're really not. You're focused on these other things. So it's changed a lot. I think we're going to see that shift back this coming year in 2022, as people are starting to make their way back to the office, make their way back to the workplace, make their way back into networking events, as opposed to sitting and doing it in front of the computer.
I think you're totally right. And it's a matter of, with technology, it's I think the pandemic really pushed us like 5 to 10 years ahead in technology usage, because people weren't Zooming, they weren't doing documents online, there wasn't that comfort level, and then you just didn't have a choice. So we're going to have that flexibility. We're going to have those different things. kind of circling back to what people are probably tuning in for the most is, how do we take networking? How do we take AGC in our network and help recession proof our businesses?
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? And I'm going to use this story that's not mine, but I love it. So I was a part of that recession that happened in 2000, 2008, 2007, 2008.
Right there.
And I lost everything during that. You know, I was in the entertainment business. I mean, and entertainment industry felt it first because it's the first thing people start doing. It's like, well, we'll eat out less. We'll eat at home. We'll go to the movies less. We'll watch a movie at home. You know, we'll, instead of doing the corporate event, and all that, well, we're not going to do one this year, or we're just going to do the catering. We're not going to do the entertainment. So everybody tightens their belts and they get rid of what they're doing for entertainment when it comes to a recession, right? We're going to restrict in.
There's no disposable income, right? I mean,
exactly. Yes. Now you also have currently this high inflation rate, right? So people who are fighting for higher wages, now all of a sudden in a time of inflation, those higher wages they fought for are getting eat up in fuel costs and everything else that's going up, food costs, all this stuff that's happening. And so again, people start to restrict, right? And so that's why that recession is being forecasted. So I'll use Lexus as an example. During the recession of 2007, 2008, Lexus dealerships were talking about luxury cars, and they started looking around and they started twiddling their thumbs. The salespeople are standing on the floor. Nobody's coming in, right? Nobody's coming in to buy these luxury cars. And so they're like, well, gosh, there's nobody coming in. We can't sell cars. So they had this idea of, well, where are our customers right now? Well, they're probably playing golf at the golf course. They're at the country club. They're at this network location. They're at these places. So they took their salespeople and they put them in brand new Lexus and sent them to those places, to the country club, to the golf course, to the bar, to the network, to the, and so on. And so they're standing at these social gatherings or what have you. And so what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a Lexus salesman. Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Have you ever been in a Lexus? Have you ever driven a Lexus? No, I haven't. I have, but it's been a long time or whatever. I'm driving my old Lexus or whatever. And they said, I've got a brand new one out in the parking lot. You want to drive it? Sure. Why not? Yeah, let's go. Right. So I don't know about you, but if you ever go and drive a new car,
yep.
And you get in that brand new smelling leather, that new car smell, the last thing you want to do is go get back in your old crappy car, right? So all of a sudden, Lexus,
which you were just fine with half an hour before.
You were fine with, an hour ago. And so and then all of a sudden, sales for Lexus started climbing during the time of recession, because they went where their customers are. They went where the people are. So I'm telling you, recession-proofing your business means that you have to get out where the people are. You cannot wait for the business to come. So when we were talking about hustling, we we're talking about work ethic earlier, we're talking about attending events again in the future, you've got to go. I'm giving you an open playground. I'm giving you the events to attend. You just have to plug yourself into them and recession-proof your business.
See, and that is where... And with our variety, I think that's even where we're a level above for Accelerated Global Connections, right? Because it's not just the same people that you're already working with. I mean, there was times when I was going to 5 different events throughout the month, and I between members and visitors, I was probably meeting 300 people additional a month.
Yeah. Yeah, you think you're coming to a membership organization, and yes, we have a huge base of members. However, the guest is often where the gold is. Absolutely.
Right.
If you're not taking time to meet the guests and follow that through, you're leaving money sitting on the table. There's huge opportunity with the amount of guests you're going to meet at every single event. Like a lot of organizations have these visitor day situations where they're once or twice a year, they're inviting massive amounts of visitors, and the rest of the time they're sitting there with just each other. But here at AGC, you're going to meet new people every single event you attend. Absolutely.
And that was for me in all honesty, that's one of the main reasons that I joined, is being able to have that flexibility and going and meet new people. Not that there's anything wrong with sitting there and getting to really know and being connected. That is great as well. but it has that balance of I've gotten to know and connect with the members, and I've also gotten to know and met a ton of new people who just even when I make, because you and I have talked about this before, so many people when they're at an event, it's and Jake brought it up too with the follow-up and making the appointment. I mean, one of the things you always tell us, right, when we're at an event, or share with us, not tell us, share with us, is pull your phone out and make 3 actual appointments right now. I mean, if you're doing that, even if someone is just a guest or coming in to see, what it's all about, I mean, imagine if you do that, how many different people you're going to be actually face to face or Zoom to Zoom with doing that. And I think, kind of circling back to the recession proofing is the more opportunities you have, even if, if you're working with 50 people and, 20% of them go away and you're down to 40 people you're working with. Well, if 400 people and 20%, now you're down to 320. Sometimes it's a numbers game, right? Because even in a recession, there's still going to be people. It's a smaller percentage of people who might need your business or want your services. But if you have a larger platform and database, your business can actually grow and you can take market share. At least that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think every person attending an event has value. And so you're either going to, when you set those three appointments, they're not sales calls, they're just opportunities to get to know people. And you're going to walk away with one of 3 things, right? You're going to it's going to be a new relationship for you, or it's going to be a sales opportunity for you, or a future referral for you, right? So there are opportunities that are within every single person you meet. You just have to cultivate them.
And if you don't cultivate them, they're just going to die on the vine.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing is I think we're really good at is helping people. I mean, just with the different, with the podcasts and with the videos and with the events like this, the AGC talks is giving tools and being top of mind and reminding you, hey, gosh, did you go and follow up? Did you do these things? But giving you tools, especially with your books, giving those tools to be able to make sure that initial planting, the seeds you planted, you actually tend to and water and not just do like most people do a lot of times. They walk away from an event and they don't take action. And I think that's one of the greatest things about having the different events we have in the Facebook group and the motivational stuff and the educational stuff that is put out in our Facebook group and in the podcast and events like this is to keep you focused while you're hustling. Because you can do all these different things and meet 1,000 different people, but if you don't follow up with any of them, it doesn't really matter. Where I think we add the tools and the expertise to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are there as well.
There's one thing that we've done really, really well, and that's content creation. There is a huge amount of content that's been created in just the 3 years that AGC has been in existence. We have over 300 talks available on our YouTube page, on our website, for that you can binge watch AGC talks, these little 15-minute.
Heck with Netflix. I'm binging. It's Friday night. I'm binging AGC.
Yeah. And what's kind of cool is like if you watch on Roku TV or you watch on Amazon Fire TV, you can absolutely do it that way. Like it'll just go from one episode to the next episode. You can just set and just binge watch these things. And you have to be really conscious about what you're putting into your mind and what you're absorbing. You talked about earlier being you're the product of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I say it's even bigger than that because you're the product of the 50 people that are following on social media, that are in your social media feed, as well as the content that's on your TV. And I'm guilty of this because, and I think a lot of us are, is that we've watched a lot of news in the last 2 years to stay aware of the what's currently going on. But if you're not also balancing that with the amount of motivational, educational, inspirational content you're bringing into your brain, you're going to get into a dark place. You can get into it really, really fast, really easy. So if you're looking for a place to be uplifted, to give you some confidence, to give you some tools and some creativity for your business, start binge watching AGC.
You know what? I love it. And I think Jackie's still on here. That's something that her and I have talked about. And she even gave me a good correction when I said about turning on, the TV on in the mornings for the noise in the background. She's like, that's just putting stuff in your head that you don't need there, right? Don't just do that stuff mindlessly, because you're, I think they used to call it the subconscious. Now I think there's a different term they use for it. But your subconscious it still hears all that stuff. And if you're not putting in the good stuff, with this, whether it's in the back, I mean, a lot of times I'll listen to a lot of our talks and things like that in the background while I'm working.
Yeah.
So even if I'm not just totally focused on that, it's still adding value and it's still bringing that stuff in for me. So,
I think that's how a lot of people listen or watch AGC talks, even live, right? So I'm going to guess, and I don't know, but I know Jake's watching, and I know, he's out and about. And so it's probably playing. He's probably not watching, but he's listening, right? And I don't know. Maybe Jackie's getting some additional work done while she's listening to this interview. And so, that's the cool thing about like podcasts and AGC talks and everything else that we do is like maybe you're being productive, but you're also absorbing the content, or you're watching it later at your own leisure. But it's there, it's available for you.
And I just, that's one of the things is, it's helped my business when I did my talk, when I, of being out there and being in front of people and just being able to use, I mean, one of the greatest things about being a speaker on an AGC event is you actually get a, tailored, professionally done and edited video that you can use in your marketing. And I think that is one of the smartest things that you've incorporated, was that we're not only just bringing value in information to our network, but we're also have opportunities if you want to be part of our network or speak at our events or do these type of the AGC Talks events online, is it's going to help your business as well, because it keeps you in front of people on all these different things we're talking about for AGC, but also their own network, being able to share some of these things.
Absolutely. You build the tools that you learn inside AGC, you're going to be able to use everywhere you're networking, any place you're a part of a network. And matter of fact, I'm someone that encourages you to be a part of multiple networks. You're not just choosing one. You're multiplying what you're doing in different ways, other streams of opportunities for relationships, referrals, and income. And so yeah, the things you're going to learn here is going to take you far in everything you do.
Well, we're coming up on the hour here. Anything else you'd like to add about either with networking or with, getting your business where you want it to be, with, if a possible recession happens, and even if it's not a recession, right? The simple fact is that you need to be in front of people. You need to constantly be growing and watering, or if you think that the 100 people you have in your database are going to keep with you for the next 20 years and your business is going to be fantastic, it's just not the facts. So is there anything else you'd like to add, or any questions people want to start putting in there for you?
Yeah. I said earlier that this is the year of hustle. Like, you're going to have to get out in front of people, and you're going to have to attend events. You're going to need to be back in person. Right. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I'd love to send you an email. Would you love another email in your life? Right. Anybody want another email? Right. And so no one wants more emails. No one wants to sign up for that. So you've got to think in that terms, right? It is time to defrost your business card. It is time to spring into action. It is time to get out there and hustle your business, get to events, start meeting people. Don't sit on the sidelines and think, well, I don't know how to do this. It's been forever since I've done this. You're just going to jump in, tip your toe in. We'll help you. We'll make sure you feel welcome. We'll get you to the right people.
So I wanted to just do the last couple of things here. Jackie Mart says, I listen to my, you know what? I can show these on the screen too.
Yeah,
I should be doing that, right? She listens to podcasts while she's working and driving. Yep. Jake mentions, it's a great point. Be generally present when talking with people. It's something we talk about all the time, is you don't want to have that commission breath, right? You don't want to just be like, okay. Most people talk to, and they stop talking to just to respond to what the person's going to say. They don't actually listen. And I think Jake makes a great point there. Now, I just dropped it in the comments, the link. We got something coming up here. Not even 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
big event coming up. You want to share with us about that?
Yeah, we're celebrating our birthday. AGC's birthday is coming up, right? It's the 3-year anniversary event.
It's our birthday.
From the launch of AGC. It's going to be huge. If you're in the Twin Cities market, if you're around Minneapolis, St. Paul, or anywhere in Minnesota, I'm going to say you're going to want to be here. But I'm also going to add that this thing is filling quickly. I think I have the ability to do this. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I do. Look at that. It's going to be cool. So it's not pretty, but it's my screen. So here you go.
It's not. Let me switch over here real quick.
Touch on that. You can. I'm sorry, I didn't warn you. So check this out, right? So here is the AGC 3-year anniversary event on our website. So if you go to our website, you go to events, you can pick this event. But I'm going to show you something behind the scenes that really no one else gets to see, because I have more tools than the average person or member. So this is a little bit about the event. We got some great speakers, 2 amazing speakers. Let me just touch on them real quick. Stacy Blair, she lost 200 pounds. And then she shares her story about how she did that, as well as the surgeries that she went through following that, the struggles that she took, and how she's leading others to make healthier choices in their life. It's a pretty awesome talk. And then we got Chad Goring, who's going to be sharing he's the development director for Renew Hope, which is bringing awareness and prevention for sex trafficking. And I don't know if you realize this, but like the Mall of America in Minneapolis is this huge spot for sex trafficking. Like they grab girls and get them directly onto a plane. Like it happens so freaking fast. And so he's going to talk about, what to watch for and how to help make a difference. I've heard him speak. He's a great speaker. But here's what I wanted to show you behind the scenes, right? So I can look at the registrations. No one else can see this, but I can see the registrations. Oh, we must get logged in. So there we go. So let me go back to the event. Here we go. We're going to go to the Minneapolis event. All right. We'll go back down. All right. There we go. So I can see who is registered for this event. I can see currently there are 77 registrations for this event. We're right now 30 days away. And there's already, what we say, 77 people here and that are registered to attend in our system. Now, I also, if I go to LinkedIn, these are new and different people, right? So right here, there are 116 people who said they are attending based on our LinkedIn event. So between the two, you've got LinkedIn at 116, you've got our AGC site at 77. This is going to be a huge event. I'm telling you, there's going to be minimum 100 plus people for you to connect with, share your business card with, start a conversation with, hear some amazing speakers, enjoy some wine and some hors d'oeuvres on us, and help us celebrate this event. We're also going to be doing some big giveaways, some awards. It's going to be a spectacular event. And the space, let me tell you about the space real quick. So it's at Spaces North Loop, which is absolutely gorgeous. You're going to walk off the elevator, you're going to walk up the red carpet, you're going to round the corner, and it is like this reconditioned warehouse feeling. So it's got really tall ceilings. It's a huge event space. So we're gonna close off the amount of people so that it's still, you have room to socialize, you have room to move around. There's going to be lots of seating. You'll be able to do that at ease. But it is an absolute beautiful space. So this is going to be the event of the year to attend. I encourage you to come.
So I just want to clarify. I want to make sure for myself, this is a celebration. We're having a big birthday party. We're going to have great and powerful and emotional speakers, but it's still all right to do business there too, right? Meet people and go with that intention.
Absolutely. We're going to encourage you to pull out your phone during that event, be intentional about who you're meeting, setting up future appointments. If you don't walk away with the opportunity to set up a future appointment, I don't know why you couldn't, right? Like, how could that happen? We're going to give you everything you need. We're going to spoon feed you what you need to walk away successfully attending a networking event. Because I don't know how many times I've heard people say, well, I went to this networking thing and I stood over in the corner by myself, didn't talk to anybody. And then afterwards,
like the high school dance for a lot of us guys, right?
I left with no business opportunities, no future appointments. That's never going to happen at an AGC event. You're going to meet lots of people. You're going to walk away with future appointments.
And if if I recall right, the other people there, they actually want to talk to you because they're there for the same reason.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It's just this huge, I don't want to say breeding ground for business. I mean, it just is. There's people are there for the right reasons. I don't know how many times too I hear people say, you know what, I got there, I was a little worried that I was going to get sold to, and all over the event. Right? No one wants to be sold to. No one wants to be like arms twisted. We're there for the right reasons. People understand, and our culture is strong in the fact that, hey, you're here to build relationships. Let's get to trust. The business will come. We're just here to help you start the spark.
Another great way to build relationships and help you with your business and your business. And what am I trying to say? Whether you're a solopreneur, a small business entrepreneur, even larger business, another way to help build relationships, be top of mind, and help you, whether a recession is big or little or whatever, it's just something you got to do, and it's going to help you recession proof your business, as we talked about at the beginning here. So Travis, thank you again for being on this. You know what, every time we talk and every time we share with other people, and I love the people who chime in, like Jake and Jackie and Teresa and everybody who kind of joins us for all these different things. They always add little tidbits and little things of value and a lot of times of motivation and also sharing. We're all going through a lot of stuff. You're not the only one. If you're watching this, you're not the only one out there who might be struggling with certain things. But once again, rising tide lifts all boats. So come join us for our birthday extravaganza. And even more important, come join us on some of these different platforms that we talked about, right? Come join us on LinkedIn. Come join us on AGC. Come down www.joinagc.com. Come check it out. I mean, there's just so much value there. So before I go back into our slide presentation and walk us out the door, anything you want to throw?
You know what? Gosh, you put me on the spot. I'll leave with a quote. And a lot of people have struggled this last couple of years, especially in business. And personally, there's been a lot of roadblocks, and even currently, right, when we're talking about the war in Ukraine, we're talking about the inflation, we're talking about future recession time and all that stuff. And I'm going to say your current struggle is on your path to your next victory, and we'd love to be a part of that story for you.
It's a great way to send us off. And one of my favorite quotes, I think, is very pertinent to AGC is, in the next year of your life, there's going to be three things that happen: the people you meet, the things you listen to, and the books you read. Those are the three things that are going to change what your trajectory is in life. We can be part of that, and we are going to be part of that. So thanks again, Travis. I'm going to move you to the famous green room. Everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm going to bring up, and we're going to finish off here. And it'll make me be the center here, as I was told I should. So AGC Talks, like I said, we've got these different areas, different places on the ground and virtually that we are doing business with. Just take a look. Some of the different events: Minnesota, Indiana, Iowa, California, Arizona, Missouri. As we're growing and as we're going national and global, you want to be part of this because it's going to just extend your reach that much. Premier sponsor, Gandy Wong with Global IT. Everybody knows how important IT is. The funny thing is most people don't think about it until their IT doesn't work. Gandy Wong and his company makes it so you don't see the things for us that don't go always as planned, especially with live TV, right? They talk about, reach out and see what Gandy can do for your company and making sure that the seamlessness of behind the scenes happens for your company or for your business. Next, we got community. We talked about this a lot today, right? Being part of a community, getting all these different things, the energy, the culture, the relationships, the results, the authenticity of you being able to be in relationship with the people you want to be with. one of the greatest things about AGC, like I said, for me, was finding my tribe, finding the people that I aligned with. I didn't have to be forced into relationships. I had these different people in these different companies that I could be authentically me and they were authentically them, and we aligned. So I think that's one of our most powerful things. Once again, really, it's only $1 a day. You know, people say, oh, you could just give up a coffee. Well, don't give up your coffee, because I probably don't want to talk with you until you've had your coffee, right? Because I know that's how it is with me with caffeine. But you don't have to. It's only $1 a day. www.joinagc.com. So on that note, thank you guys all for participating. Thanks for being here, Jackie, Jake, and everybody else who's watching in replay. Make sure you throw that hashtag replay in there. And I'm going to leave you with this.